Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the City Chatter Podcast. I'm your host, John Bernstrom, Public Information Officer for the City of Grand Forks. Episode number 48, and we bring you City Council Vice President Danny Weigel. Danny, thank you for being here.
Anytime. Happy to be here.
Let's get into it. First off, good holiday, good Christmas.
Yeah.
Survived everything.
Got to stay in town, didn't have to go anywhere,
look at
didn't
you.
have to navigate weather. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I traveled a little bit, gained about 10 pounds working on that right now.
Well, hey, everybody does. I think January 2nd through about January 9th, that's when everybody starts and quits at the same time. So.
Well, I scheduled my annual appointment around Christmas, and that was a mistake. They're like, hey, your number's a little off. I'm like, well, I've been eating nothing but sugar for 3 weeks.
Switch to like March, John.
Yeah, I should.
June.
I should.
There's better timing for all that.
No kidding. Yeah, that's a me problem.
It is.
That's a me problem. So last night's committee of the whole meeting, there's a couple of topics I want to touch on that one. First off, there was a discussion of the procedures regarding tax and company comes in. I'm looking for a 10-year pilot, a 20-year pilot. I want to tax and pick the acronym or whatever. There's a state statute process that goes through right now. Looking to refine that a little bit at a council level, trying to bring everyone together at once. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to bring everybody together at once. I more so think about city staff time. Mr. Phelan, the mayor, they're going to a county commission meeting. They're going to a Grand Forks School Board meeting. Sometimes I think school board same night as we are, and so they're leaving from one, running to the other to try to get that information to all of our partners. And I think if you can bring them in and be able to answer all the questions for everybody all at the same time, I think that's a positive. And why not try something new? I always hate that. Well, we're not going to change because we don't want change, or whatever the case may be. If there's an idea, I think that most of the time we should take a look at it and see where it lands.
I think it's also fair to say I like the discussion at the end. I can't remember who said it. I think it was maybe you who said, if it doesn't work, we just change back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that was Dana. Yeah, Dana had some good comments on that, right? Like, if it doesn't work, we can always go back. And I think sometimes government has that notion that, hey, you know what, we've been doing it this way for the last 100 years, so it must work. Well, I think there's a lot of good ways that we can change and get better and make things more efficient for everybody.
In my time working for the city, it started with, from a council level, committee of the whole to city council. Mm-hmm. And then there was a council in the middle there that said, no, we don't want to do committee of the whole. We want to do a service safety committee and a finance development committee, and we're going to meet separately, and we're going to hash it out, and we're going to come back to council. It was like that for a few years. Yep. New council comes on, let's all get back together. And you know what? We can. None of this is in law.
Nope.
Right? The city council meeting is the only thing that needs to happen.
Correct, yeah. And honestly, I mean, the city of Grand Forks, we meet more than probably any other governing body in Grand Forks, right? Like, we meet every single Monday unless there's a fifth Monday of the month or we cancel due to a holiday or something along those lines. And so the committee of the whole is nice. I think it's realistically more of a work session than anything.
Right.
We're able to ask a lot of questions and gives us another week to get feedback from our constituents, and so I think it works out really well. But yeah, we meet every single Monday, so I think that's a lot more than any other governing body.
I think the city code is just the 2 city council meetings a month. Yep. That's the only thing that's in code. Now, as a council member, you know this, better than anybody, right? It's more than just the council meetings, right? Yep. It's other meetings. So it's work on you guys. Back to the tax incentive thing. It was brought up, I believe it's going to be the EDC board and the chamber potentially working on some like philosophy things of, all right, what do they call it? Rubrics of, all right, good incentives, these work in this community, these work in that community. Do you have any thought on that of what is a good candidate for a tax incentive and what isn't?
I think when I think of good candidate, I think of some of the projects that we've done recently and some of the projects that we're looking to do in the future is, when you have state-owned property, you are collecting zero on property taxes.
Right.
You collect absolutely nothing, or property that maybe hasn't been annexed into the city, but is just like last night. We're looking at special assessments for an area right at 17th Avenue South and South 42nd Street.
Sure.
That's not in the city limits. It hasn't been. I don't believe it's been annexed yet, and so.
I'm not sure on that one.
It's real close, right? We're in that process of they're looking at developing some housing in that area, but there's chunks of property throughout the city that we either receive $0 in property taxes for, or that pay very little due to it being agricultural land or farmland. And so some of these things that are coming forward, when you collect zero and the project won't happen without that tax incentive, you have to think to yourself, well, if they do 90%, say over 10 years, you're still collecting 10%, which is 10% more than you've ever collected on that piece of property.
Right.
And so when you look at Memorial Village 1 and Memorial Village 2,
probably never collected tax on those properties.
Never collected a penny on those those properties because it was always owned by the state. Well, once they transfer that ownership, I believe, to the Alumni Association and Foundation, then it becomes taxable, and then you're building these projects. And so I'm not saying every tax incentive makes sense.
Sure.
You could have a good argument that, a building downtown that's already collecting property taxes maybe isn't the ideal candidate for it, or maybe somewhere else in the city. But some of these where you're collecting zero, if you do nothing or there is no tax incentive, you're still going to collect zero. Well,
right.
A tax incentive, you automatically collect more overnight. And so I think some make sense more than others.
Sure.
And I think that's part of the discussion of which property tax incentives do we want and where do we want them, and bringing everybody together. I think we can have that conversation and come to some type of agreement, or it goes nowhere, and then we're still at where we're at.
Right, where we're at. Right.
Yep.
I do think it's good within these tax incentives. Every one of them is unique.
Yes.
There hasn't, in my 20 years working for the city, there hasn't been one that's been the same.
Nope.
Right. Sure. No, really not. There's all a unique factor.
There's all
to
little tweaks, right? And I'm glad to see the city is raising that fee that we charge.
That's
that
a
we
change
use for the third party to look at the financials to $10,000. I think it was $2,500 before, and so I think that's going up, which I think is a positive change. And I think it's good to make some of these tweaks and see how they work out.
No, good deal. I learned a new term yesterday. I had no idea I had
it from one of your kids? That's the important thing.
No,
like
from
bra or,
from my all the middle school
Absolutely.
slang. Yeah, 100%. No, this but from a young employee that I have, I had no idea Bitcoin ATMs were a thing.
Yep.
She goes, "Oh, this is on the agenda." I'm like, "What is that?"
Yep.
This is more. It's a city council question for you, but also you're in law enforcement. What do you know about him? What's going on here? What was that discussion last night?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of conversation with Detective Reedinger. He's somebody I've known for probably the last 15 years. I've worked with him, sat in a parking lot with him at 2 a.m. when we were both on nights back in the day, and so I've got to know Todd really well. And I think Todd's doing fantastic work. I really think he found his niche with some of these financial crimes.
He's the fraud detective, right? Yeah.
He does amazing work, and he's been able to get money back for people that have lost it, and so he just does a really good job. And so, having the conversation with him about, what are these Bitcoin ATMs? I've always seen them, right?
I don't even know if I've ever seen them, or I've seen them and I just thought it was an ATM.
Right. Yeah, I've seen them a bunch of places. I'm not a big crypto guy. That's just me personally. But I've seen them, throughout the community, or when I've traveled, I've seen them all different places, and so. Really didn't know how they worked. Like I said, not a big crypto guy, so didn't really, in a sense, care how they worked just because I didn't use them or they didn't impact me. But to hear the amount of fraud that goes through them, I think he was at about $500,000 that he's totaled up in the last couple of years, and those are just people that report. Obviously, there's some people that aren't going to because they're
a few $100. I'm a little embarrassed.
Right.
I'm not going to bring this up.
Absolutely. And so learning a little bit more about him, about Bitcoin and how these machines work last night was really good. I think there's something that we have to do. Obviously, there's cities throughout the United States that have just put an outright ban on them, and we're starting to see some of those lawsuits now from people that own them or the contractors for them. And so it'll be interesting to see where those go. But I think we have to do other things that maybe are a little less intrusive about, making sure that people are aware that, hey, these are used for scams. These are used to probably used to launder money to other countries or other things. So I think when Todd last night talked about a 20 to 30% fee as soon as you put the money in, I'm not huge in investing, but I don't know of any investor
that doesn't sound
that would
great.
lose 20% right off the top, right? And then there's a fee to take the money out as well.
Yeah, so you're getting on both sides.
Yeah, so you're getting on both sides. So I don't know of many financially savvy people that are probably going to take that deal. And so my question is there ways to put more on them, right? As far as like, hey, odds are this is probably being used as a scam. I haven't heard of anybody. Nobody's contacted me and said, hey, I use these for a legitimate purpose. Because realistically, everything you can do, you can.
I thought Bitcoin was all right here.
Absolutely. And so I'd be interested to hear from people that use it and say, hey, I use it for this reason or that reason.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard from anybody yet. And I've been asking people about, do you ever use the ATMs? You know, do you ever put money in to buy your Bitcoin that way versus just pulling it up on your phone and the money just comes out of your bank account? So I don't know.
And that leads up to a follow-up question. Is this, and this may be a question for Mr. Gosted, is this in the realm, can the city regulate it?
I personally think we can in a way. Obviously, anything that we don't have a city ordinance for falls back to state law. But there's got to be a way that we can regulate it in some way, right? There's city ordinances that aren't state laws.
Right.
Technically, like a noisy party is a city ordinance only. There's no state law against a noisy party.
Right.
And so
certain parking regulations are
absolutely.
Right?
So I think there's things that we can do to maybe make it a little more strict, or signage, or the businesses that have these Bitcoin machines within them. So I think there's certain little things that we can do. An outright ban, I don't know that we can at this point. So I think that's last night directing the city attorney to kind of maybe come up with a game plan of what we can do, what we can't do, I think is a positive step. And if it saves, save somebody's grandma or somebody else's, $50,000 or $100,000 that they would send, then I think it's a positive.
Yeah, no, that again, I learned a lot yesterday, not even at the meeting, just during the day, because I'm like, I don't even know what these things are. How do they work?
Yep.
So back to, well, it's there's kind of a tax incentive side of this, but we're not quite there yet. But you're talking about state land, Ray Richards Golf Course. Currently going through the rezoning process right now to put an apartment at one end, Top Golf Sweet Shots, what are the Golf Tracer? There's different companies on the other end. Also maintaining the golf course.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that? Rezoning is the only thing that's in front of you right now. What are your thoughts on that? Again, this is one of those that it's been state land as long as I know.
Yep.
And moving forward with that process.
I think we're in a good spot. I know when it first came out, there's a lot of hesitancy from a lot of different people. And I think even at one of the public meetings, they said, hey, why would we put Sweet Shots or Top Golf on the east end of the golf course? It makes zero sense, right? It needs to go on the west end. And the reason I say that is think about what you have on the west end. You have the Alaris Center.
Sure, you have
some apartments already. Yeah. You have some commercial already. People get off the interstate. First thing they see, right, is Top Golf or Sweet Shots, or whatever the company is.
Yeah.
It draws you into Grand Forks. And so I think that's something that's positive. I think the university, along with the developers, have done a really good job of really listening to the neighbors about what they wanted to see and where they wanted things lined up. And if we're going to do this, now's the perfect time. We're looking at the interstate.
We're closing the golf course anyway.
We're closing the golf course. We're putting in grade separation or an underpass there at Demers and 42nd, which I think is very positive. So we're going to be doing a lot of work anyway. So I think this is a perfect time to get some of these things rolling. And, it's tough. Like I look at, what was it, 2, 3, 4 months ago, we talked about what kind of vote do you need in order to pass a rezoning?
Right, and landed on a 6, it has to be at least 6 of you guys.
Yep. Currently, it's a super majority, so you can only have one person really vote against it.
Right.
If you have more than that, it fails, and that's one thing that I've really struggled with, maybe more than any other topic that we've dealt with the city. And because the reason I struggle with that is, why are your property rights more important than my property rights?
Sure.
And I think what it does is it really pins one property owner over another property owner. If I own a property and John's my next door neighbor, and this is just hypothetically, right? Yep. And I want to rezone it.
It qualifies for rezoning.
It qualifies.
Right.
I want to rezone it to something similar, but John doesn't like it. Why does John's property rights, why are they more important than my property rights?
Sure.
And I think there's some common sense in there, right? Like, obviously, if this has been a single family house.
Right.
You're not going to. I can't put a 30 floor building However, with where it's zoned right now with university, they could put up 30
they could put up a
residence halls.
They could put up a 6-story dorm there.
You know, and so it's like, how do you? We can't always let perfect get in the way of really good. And so, how do we work with the neighbors, work with the university, work with the developer, so that something that is a good development for the city of Grand Forks and good for the community, good for everybody involved, and come to some sort of consensus. And I think the university's done a really good job of looking at that, bringing everybody in, having meetings with everybody to say, hey, how can we get this done? And so it's tough. That's the biggest thing that I've struggled with maybe in the last, year or so is property rights.
Yeah. Whose rights are more right than the other?
Yeah. That's the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head that's strict.
Yeah.
And property rights, I get it. It should be really strict. It should be difficult, but should it be that difficult when you have one property owner and another property owner?
And I will say this, a nice thing that whoever's idea it was, I'm going to give our planning department credit on this one. They included the golf course it's called the plan unit development. They included the golf course there.
Yep.
So it's out of that university district.
Absolutely.
To keep it a golf course,
yes.
Which is, I think, something the neighborhood really said, if I really like the golf course, I don't want to change from the golf course. And in the process of adding these two other things, the rest of it is going to stay a golf course.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the golf course is beautiful. If I lived in a home, if I qualified to live there, right? Because I think it's a 55 and older.
Yeah, I think there's some caveats, yeah.
Yep. If I qualified to live there, absolutely, I'd want to live on the golf course, right? Like, if I had an opportunity to do that, it's absolutely beautiful in the summer. And my golf game isn't very good, but at the same time, I'd sit there and watch people play golf as I sat on my porch and had a nice cold Coke. But, it's one of those things that things change throughout the years and opportunities come up, and I don't think something stays something forever. And so if you can have the best of both worlds, I think that's positive.
We've already lived through a bit where UND has said that golf course, we can't make any money. Right, right. We just have an understanding we're losing money on the golf course, and that's fine. And I think they're trying to go from losing money to breaking even, and this is there. So I don't think I'm speaking out of turn in saying that, but I think this is UND's way of trying to keep this as a golf course as well.
Absolutely, yeah, and we saw when it shut down, right?
Yeah.
I think under President
Turned into
Kennedy,
a pasture.
I mean, it was tough, and I don't think that was good for the neighborhood either, right?
Right.
But again, I think it comes down to I've heard even some people that I know say, well, they should do this. And I'm like, sure, but it's their property, right? Like, we have to be cognizant of that too, that we shouldn't be so fast to tell people what they should do with their own property, because nobody else would want to be told what to do with their property either. So
I say that all the time.
catch-22.
When a development comes in, of course, lots of people think the city does all development. We don't do any of it. We just say whether they can do what they want to do. People are like, well, the city should do this. And we're like, well, we don't own it. They own it. And you buy your own property and you should do that.
Yeah, my 12-year-old son told me the other day that the mayor should open up a Raising Cane's. And I said, should he do that personally or should he do that as the mayor? And he said, I don't really care which one he does. As long as he does it as one.
He just wants it as a Raising Cane's.
So I told the mayor that last night. I said, my son would like you to open up a Raising Cane's, and knowing that he has zero control whether a Raising Cane's comes to Grand Forks or not.
That's right. No, so, that's pretty good.
Told him I pass it on.
Question for you. Your day job as a UND PD, you're getting through winter break. I'm just curious. First off, how did the fall go? Right? You got a lot of students on campus this year. So how was fall from a law enforcement standpoint on campus?
Yeah, it was great. It's sometimes the best of both worlds, right? You're busy right away in the fall. A lot of events, a lot of activities, sports, you name it, is all going on. And then you get a little break in the winter, and then the spring, we started right back up, and I'm actually a student now as well. So
really?
I'm going back, trying to get a master's degree little by little, and so I'm one of those students as well, trying to get things done. But no, it's great. You never know from year to year how busy you're going to be.
Sure.
Just because it's all dictated by the amount of students that are coming in, what type of students they are, and what type of social life they like. And but so far this year, it's been really, really good, and now getting through the spring semester and working on a training schedule for all the officers, and incorporating, city police department, highway patrol, you name it, and working on training together.
All right. No, I've always been curious with that, because you're right. And then there's a winter break now.
Yep.
Like, is this an opportunity for you to take vacation then too, or take a break, or does that that's where you squeeze in trainings and stuff?
Yeah,
it's obviously Christmas, but right, that's when you do some of the other stuff.
Yeah, it's really, sometimes it's about catching up, right? And you use that opportunity to catch up when you got a couple thousand people that leave, and maybe get a little bit slower. But typically, that's what we're doing, is catching up and figuring things out, and then it all starts over again. And then we use some of the summer to catch up from spring semester, and it's all about planning for the fall again. And whether it's moving weekend to homecoming parade to,
and that all happened. Moving weekend, potato bowl, homecoming, all just like boom, all at once.
Yep. Along with we staff.
Football.
What is it? 16 or 18 hockey games up at the Ralph every single year.
You do that as well.
We take care of all hockey, and we take care of any concerts or anything else that they have up there, and so staffing all those, and the Ralph's a great partner, obviously, and so just getting everything taken care of.
Yeah, busy. And then this isn't a day job. This is I'm on boards. You're on boards.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about I saw a social media post for the BMX track. New starting gate is on its way. Just talk about the work that's going on out there.
Yeah, so I think the great thing, we all have stuff we volunteer. BMX is no different. My son races, and I raced as a kid, right? And so that would have been, 24 years ago, somewhere in there I was racing. And it's just a great sport. It's a great individual sport. I understand there's, kids that maybe excel in the team aspect of football or baseball or soccer. Right. But there's also kids that maybe don't excel in that sport, in that team atmosphere as well. And so I think it's a great individual sport. I think it humbles you fast, right? You think you're really good.
It's part of sports, right?
There's always somebody that's faster than you, whether it's locally or nationally. And
I think that's a great lesson in life, is learning how to fail.
100%. Yeah. And that's what a lot of BMX is, right? I've seen kids go out and take first 3 races in a row, and then they get grouped with another kid, and it's second, and I've seen the tears, and I've seen the happiness when they finally beat that kid. And it's just a great individual sport. And BMX has been growing throughout the community. It's been growing nationwide. And I was showing some people, it's where BMX started in 2021 when we moved from out by the gun club to the Alara Center area, and where that track is now at the end of 2025. And it's just crazy how far the place has come, how many thousands of hours of volunteers have put in their time, whether it's raking or gluing the track, or building a tower, or making some audio adjustment, whatever it is, assembling bikes. We have free bikes for kids that maybe can't afford it, or parents around the fence, they just want to come try it out. We have all the free bikes and helmets so kids can try it out. And it's great to see when a kid picks it up, and you see them outside of the track or the winner, and they're like, "Hey, that's Danny from the BMX track," and they're excited to get back. And so it's just great to have an opportunity for kids to be able to do something different in our community as well.
So on a track like that, right? It's like clay, right?
Yep.
Right. So what does winter do to it? Like, is there things you need to do before winter to make it better in the spring? Or, I'm just very curious on this track maintenance.
Yeah, so a lot of people just think it's just dirt racing, right? There's
pile of dirt,
kids ride on it, smooths out. It's actually a lot more than that. And right now the track is a clay base. If you know anything about North Dakota clay, it's tough to work with. It's tough to mold. There's chunks.
It's hard.
You never know what you're going to find in it. And so what we've done is we've kept that clay base, but we've also imported a topsoil from Minnesota. And so that topsoil is a little sandier, a little grittier, a lot smoother, a lot easier to work with. And so we put about a 1/4 inch to 3/4 of an inch on top of the actual clay, smooth all that out, and then we use a polymer glue. So if you picture like your Elmer's glue as a kid, when you put it on your finger, you could peel it off in a sheet.
So you put almost like a cover on it.
Correct. Yep. We glue it. We go probably about 2,000 gallons of glue a year, mixed with water, and we apply that at the beginning of the year and mid-season and then the end. And the nice part is that when it rains, that water just washes right off.
Runs off and so doesn't run the dirt off.
Doesn't run the dirt off. So it keeps everything in place. And so we can get an inch of rain and then be racing that night with a little sun. And so it works out really well. And there's just so much that goes into it that people don't realize. And so I would say that at the beginning of the year, come April, May, we peel all that stuff off by hand.
Okay.
With rakes, hand tools, we
Sure,
peel it
sure.
all off.
Break it down.
Yep. We put all the dirt back on, import some new dirt, put it back on. We water it, we smooth it out, we roll it with like an asphalt roller. Then once we get it to where we want it, we start gluing it. Then usually 3 sets of glue before we ride on it, and then it's ready to go for the year.
Is there a sweet spot with the track of it's best right after the glue? It needs a couple of races on it after the glue in order to be in its sweet spot. Is that different for every rider?
It's different from every track, right?
Oh, for every track.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like typically we want the glue to sit for about 24 hours because it hardens up. So you have a nice hard surface to ride on, and if it doesn't harden up, you got to wait. Otherwise, it's just going to peel. Right?
Oh, it'll just come off. Okay.
And so it just creates more work for everybody else. And so a lot of it is just based on experience, working with the glue, working with the dirt, and understanding where it is. And even when once you get a couple layers of glue on it, and say you do get a big rain, we've had, last year during our state qualifier weekend and Gold Cup weekend, we had, 225, 230 riders, which about 100 were from out of state, or 180 were out of state and out of the area. And we had thunderstorms Saturday morning and Sunday morning, right before race time. And so it was getting the track ready, and it actually, when it does have some moisture in it, it packs in super well and super smooth.
Okay.
And so you get that many bikes on it, just packs everything in.
Sure.
And you're probably a better track than you were before. It's just finding that sweet spot of not too wet, but maybe a little bit of moisture in it.
Wow. No, interesting. Okay, I went down a rabbit hole now, but I found that really cool.
And that's one thing that we've really tried to do over the years, right? Is I think the image of BMX racing is it's just
it's just
maybe
on dirt, right?
Some hillbillies out on their bike making jumps and doing everything else, and that's one thing we've really tried to do is professionalize it. We've had riders as young as 2 years old on their striders to a couple of years ago we had Miss Kitty out of Iowa who's in her 70s racing BMX still, and so truly is a sport for everybody. It's for everybody in the family. We have moms, dads, kids. We have everybody that comes out and joins us, and people really enjoy it.
You still ride on it?
Try to, but I realize that I've got work the next morning, and so feeling my chief if I came in with a broken collarbone or broken arm or something because I tried a little too hard, he probably wouldn't be that thrilled.
Oh, you're not competitive at all, right?
I'm not.
Not at all.
No.
All right, so the BMX track is next to the Altru Sports Complex where we're building an indoor turf facility. We all know that.
Yep.
Our fun thing that we're going to talk about today is the history of artificial turf.
Perfect.
Okay?
Let's do it.
I think you're going to know this one. The first facility that had artificial turf.
Would be the Metrodome?
Close.
Okay.
No. Used to be called AstroTurf.
Oh, the Astrodome.
The Astrodome was the first one, 1966.
Do you remember? Have you ever felt the old AstroTurf?
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like felt carpet.
And right, concrete.
Yep.
It is absolutely
literally laid on top of concrete.
The old Metrodome turf I've been on.
Yep.
And then the first football field with turf. I found this interesting. I'll tell you, it's Franklin Field in Philadelphia, which is Penn.
Okay.
But it's the Eagles used to play there.
Oh, gotcha.
That was the first football field. When?
Oof.
This one surprised me.
I'm gonna go with. Is it in the 2000s?
Yeah, no. I was surprised it was this old.
Oh. Not a clue.
Astrodome was 66. Franklin Field was 69.
Wow.
And that's like baseball on the old AstroTurf is one thing. Football on AstroTurf was just
I was
terrible.
Thinking more about the field turf when they made the change from AstroTurf to field turf.
So then it's evolved to field turf and all this stuff. Probably one of the largest sports organizations in the world is FIFA.
Yep.
Right? They started approving stadiums with field turf. Like the old AstroTurf, they didn't want it, but field turf. That wasn't until 2005, 2006. Like, it amazes me. And here's a baffling one. And they approved it for international play in what year?
Oof. Well, if they just got in 2005 and 2006, international play, let's go with 2021.
2013.
Oh.
2013. So, turf has been around for how long, right? But FIFA says for international play, they approved it. And it wasn't until 2013. The first Olympics that involved AstroTurfs was the one in Montreal, which would have been 76. Yep. 76 would have been that Olympics. The Memorial Stadium in Montreal was the first.
I remember when Cushman Field was grass. When I played for Central for football, it was still natural grass.
I only remember that one was turf, and that original turf was that old carpet on concrete. That was tough stuff.
Yeah. So I played on natural grass, and then also played on turf when it was the Fargo Dome when we won state championship 2005.
Sure. Yeah, and that was old turf as well.
It was old turf, and I just remember guys would come off with just the ugliest rug burn on different parts of their body just from being beat up by that stuff.
So when Alaris Center was first, and there's nothing worse than brand new turf.
Yep.
So when Alaris Center was built, that was the year that UND football won a national title, right? So I think they ended up playing like 10 home games that year.
Oh, yeah.
Free safety on the team was Adam Stratton. I've known Adam for a long time. I saw him at spring ball. So championship was in December. This was March, and his arms are all wrapped up. And I go, hey, what's going on? Something happened? He goes, no, my arms are still healing from all the turf burns.
Yep.
And I go, it's been months. He goes, yeah, they won't heal up.
No, and it stings and it hurts. Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's absolutely brutal.
And I'm like, well, you got to wear those sleeves. And he's like, I don't like wearing those things, right? He's a tough guy. Right?
Yep. No.
If he's listening, that's fine.
That's awesome. No, it's turf's changed a lot. And I didn't even know, like, when you look at the NFL, a lot of people are, I don't know if there's any truth to this because I don't know much about it, but a lot of people are saying, like, a lot of the knees and the ACLs and everything is due to turf. And I've always wondered about that, what the difference between grass and turf is.
Evidently, in the NFL, there's not universal turf.
Nope.
Because there's agreement across the board that, what's the Giants Stadium, MetLife?
Yep.
They go, that has the worst turf.
Yep.
They go, take a look at studies, most knees are blown on that. And I'm like, isn't turf? And they're like, evidently, that's a different type of turf.
Yep. No, it's all different. And, you know, and maybe the NFL, with as big of an organization as that is, you think they'd probably have that. Like, hey, here's our standard. It's either above our standard or below our standard, or here's our approved vendors for turf and NFL stadiums, right? You think the NFLPA.
And evidently they don't.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
I know. Like, FIFA is just like, all right, we allow this on the state. NFL is just like, hey, can you make us a buck?
Yep. No, I know. I went to my first professional soccer game this year. We were down in St. Paul for...
Oh, you went down to, was it Allianz or whatever?
The Loons? Is it the Loons?
Yeah, but the stadium is what? Allianz Field or whatever, right off the
Field. I think it's Alliance.
Right off of the interstate there.
And that was fun. We got good tickets. We sat right behind one of the goalkeepers, like 5th or 6th row.
I've got a couple of friends not in here live in the cities that have season tickets, and they're just like, it's
fun. It was awesome.
It's a great show.
I'm not a soccer guy. My son loves soccer, but I had a really good time. I love watching him play, obviously, play and compete, but never been to a professional soccer game, and we went, and it was a lot of fun. The atmosphere was crazy, and really good time.
It's fun with kids, isn't it? When you see it click. Yep. My son is a football player. Is he gonna play football beyond high school? Probably not. Right? I don't know. Maybe but he really enjoys it.
Absolutely.
And I remember in youth football, and you go out to, it was like Elks Park out there, and there's 300 kids out there. I'm just standing on one end, and you're watching. You're like, man, that kid, boy, he's really into it. You can tell that kid's not scared of getting hit. Yep. Took his helmet off. I'm like, oh my God, that's my kid.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Right? And he's been in football ever since.
Yeah, no, and Paul Strandy and everybody at
Oh boy, football, what a program they've
done. Yep. A phenomenal job. And I think they're even starting some girls football leagues.
They had girls flag football this past fall.
Yeah, no, they're doing a phenomenal job, and kudos to, I call him Coach because he was my coach in high school at Central. So he'll always be Coach Strandy to me, just like Coach Berg will always be Coach Berg.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even play for Coach Berg, and he's Coach Berg.
100%, absolutely, yeah. No, and so it's great to see these other youth programs have success.
And just credit to the youth program here, how well they've done. So the youth program did it. Then my son went and played middle school, and that was a little ragtag, and now he's in the high school program. Yep. The high school programs have now had Paul and his team at the youth program take over the middle school program.
Yep.
And I think last year was the first year of that.
Yeah, they
give it a little more structure, and kudos to everyone involved there. Hey, recognizing good.
Yeah, and I just found out, I think some of the coaches I had at Valley when I went there, I think they're completing their last year. So Mr. Vonish and Mr. Carlson, from what I've heard, possibly. I hope they coach 10 more years because my son's thinking about soccer, football,
right? Just being active,
yeah.
Right?
And so I think Grand Forks were really lucky to have a lot of really dedicated people in youth sports, and
that's what it takes.
Yeah, Dan and Big Dave Vonish and all those guys, and
Dave.
I think even like Kirby and Kelby Crefting have been around a long time coaching football at the middle school level.
Sorry,
So
my kid's teacher is Mr. Crafting.
Yep. Well, and I see both Mr. Crafting's basketball games at Red River. So we're really fortunate to have a lot of really good youth coaches within our community, and it's great to see that.
We're probably missing some people, but it's good to acknowledge those people that aren't always in the forefront or getting the accolades, but they're the ones that keep the wheels turning.
Absolutely.
To do that. No, that's awesome. Danny, thank you very much. We went down a couple of rabbit holes here, but this was really good.
Sometimes that's the best conversation.
Exactly. Thank you. The Ray Richards coming up on in February. I think first meeting in February.
Absolutely.
So should be a good one. Thank you. And thank you to Danny. Thank you for watching this episode of the City Chatter podcast. If you want to catch this episode or any of the previous episodes, you can go to grandforksgov.com/podcast. We'll catch you next time.